Oh, sorry. Kwendi? Oh, sorry. Kwendi? Okay, so I think sound is good, and we are good to go. Okay, guys. Ekiriwo siyinza kukibaddiramu mwenna mukimanyi bulungi ekitambula today kyekyokuttibwa kw'omukulu kwe kuwona kw'omukulu amanyikiddwa nga mwami Katumba Wamala. Yawonya amasasi. Kakati this is fun. This is what is interesting here. Nti ebisinga abantu babyogedde sigenda kubanga mbiddamu njogera kino njogera kiri. Most of the issues people have addressed them and have talked about them. Nayenze I will perhaps look at the entire matter in a completely different angle, in a completely different scenario. Abamu muyinza okukiriziganya nange, abamu muyinza obutakiriziganya nange, like it or not. So that's how I will tackle it. Now, nze ekibuuzo kye nja okubuuza kimu. Why? What's the motive? Why would someone want... Lwaki omuntu ayagala okutta Katumba Wamala? Why would someone really want to kill Katumba Wamala? Because whereas I do understand ntegeera the question or the gundi gye tukola nti netugamba abantu okay abiriga bamukubye amasasi abiriga kyakugwanidde bulijjo tubagamba Kirumira bulijjo tubagamba Kawesi the same, and all these people who have been murdered, the Muslim sheikhs, of course most of people babatunulira nga bali innocent. You see, whenever people die in Uganda babeeramu two categories. Whenever people die or if you lose someone mubamu categories ibiri ez'abantu. Now waliwo category nga yo if at all they died or if at all they lost someone, it would be better for the public not to know. It would be better ensi netamanya nti omuntu bwati ne bwati yafiiriddwa omuntu, because of the backlash gye bagenda okufuna okuva eri abantu. There is that category. Kati ne wabaawo ne category singa eba efiiriddwa omuntu oba singa eba efudde, they would be happy for the entire world to know that this person has died. Be bantu nga Kirumira, be bantu nga babaseeka abasiraamu, and so on and so forth. Be bantu nga bano abavubuka abaganda bafe aba people power bajja battibwa ne bakidnappingibwa. Kati ne wabaawo category ey'aba Shabani Bantariza. Kati ne wabaawo ne category ezimu eziri divisive, by the way. Category ngeza Kasirye Eggwanga, because Kasirye Eggwanga muntu akolera government, yali anga akolera government, naye mu kufa kwe people were split. Should we mourn Kasirye Eggwanga oba should we kumukalakata munkalakata gye twakuba Shabani Bantariza. Kibule, when he lost the children, I don't know if you see where I'm going. Kibule we yafiirwa abaana, the mourning was quite different. Kitegeera. Now, Katumba Wamala's mourning is very interesting. It is much more about twakugamba. There is a bit of sympathy there as well from the people, which I've noticed. Then wabaawo a bit of telling Katumba to get born again, to alokoke avejali adeno. It has been very rare to see people calling out Kibule avejali adeno. It's been very rare to see people calling Abiliga's family avejali badeno and all these people. But for Katumba Wamala, people are crying out for him. Nti musajja kyusa, this is a sign. Musajja byobadde oyogera genda mpola. Musajja twakugamba. You get the point. So there are those characters. There's a divisive chawuddemu bantu on how they are mourning Katumba Wamala's loss okufiirwako muwala we. Oba naye kennyini yandibadde afudde. That is how we mourn today. But it is interesting to me. I wanted to look past that. Because every time tujja kujja wano, okay, yakigwanidde, blah, 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 yep. But we are missing the point. There's a very big point we are missing. And there are so many signs that we are missing. Nga tugenze ne narrative eyo okuviira ddala ku kuttibwa kwa basheekh. Then ne batta Abiriga, ne batta Joanna Kagezi, Susan Magala, Nobo Mayombo, Nyakairima, what's his name? Ono gwe baakuba akatayimba, James Kazini, all those people. Okay, nze kati sigize wano okugamba kuddamu Katumba bye yayogera in the past, oba byagenda okwogera in the present, oba byagenda okwogera in the future. But I'm asking just a simple question. Why would someone want Katumba Wamala dead? Number one, what is the motive? Number two, how does that benefit Museveni? And how does that affect the entire country? Kiki kyanyonya. So when I was looking, answers zonna ziri awo ku meza. What Ugandans agree upon, the one thing that we Ugandans all agree upon is nti omuntu atta abantu baffe takyuka. It is the same person. Okuviira ddala kuba mayombo. Kyova olaba nti nno, people who die under unclear circumstances, they lived, we all know who the perpetrator is. Eyo constant, omuntu takyuka. The person killing the people amanyikiddwa, right? Naye lwaki atta ne banda at a certain time, natta Kazini at a certain time, natta Lugonvu at a certain time, n'ayagala okutta, what do you call him, this guy, Katumba Wamala at a certain time, natta Chirumira at a certain time, why? It's the same person. And why are some people given poison? Why are some murders done at night and some murders are done during daytime? So the reason as to why you will kill someone during daytime is to send a clear message. That's it. And why would you kill someone at night? Well, there are some people who are difficult to track down and be killed, and that's why it is easy to get them at night. But you make sure Ochikola as public as possible. Make sure that the message is as public as possible. Because if you wanted to kill someone in secret, or someone in secret, right? But when someone goes out there, there is a big message that the person is sending. These are the things that we look at. That's what I look at. Okay, you wanted to kill Katumba Wamala. Why not at night? Something. Why would you choose Chisasi of all places? Why choosing the spot here? Those are the most important things. Now, I'm going to break down a number of factors as to why they wanted Katumba dead, or why Katumba has to go, why Katumba has to die. I'm sorry, Nizo Utakola, my analysis from your typical sort of analysis. Maybe Katumba yayogera wati ne wati. Because lots of presenters here bazene babi sorting out. I'm not going to go back into that. I could dida mu luyimba tolunyumiza, but I'm just giving you a different point of view. Now, number one, I've always told people something is happening, something is brewing in the Congo. What way to get a massive Congo? And so most people don't believe me. Most people don't understand where I come from on this matter. The day they announced into Walio ICC Congo, That is the day I told people in Uganda nti oba musiraamu salako ekirevu. Bw'oba obadde osaalira ku muzikiti esswala zikendeeze z'obadde osaalira ku muzikiti, my friend. Because there is something coming. I've told people. Museveni sente zaatadde Congo azimba enguudo. Bakola ebyo byonna bye bakola date waabwe. Somalia leero Besigye yagenze ku monitoring akalulu Somalia. And if things go good in Somalia, ne bafuna obukulembeze, all the forces in Somalia are going to be withdrawn. Now that energy has to be rechanneled somewhere else. Museveni is very scared of a dormant barracks because the military officers buli baba nga bali dormant, kitegeeza nti it is a nest for okumusiga okulula. So what do? Look for a new war somewhere else. Search for a new place to create instability. And which is the best place? Congo. Why Congo? Now, Congo, Museveni says he's there for two reasons. Number one, abayekera aba ADF abaliyo agamba they are there because of him. Of which these bayekera bava Uganda, then they went into Eastern Congo. Then when they went into Eastern Congo, they were creating a havoc. Now, recently, those bayekera, US State Department, yabade declaring ISIS in the DRC, which is funny. Because when you label them ISIS, kitegeeza n'enkuba ekyuka. Kitegeera. Kakati we labeling ISIS, Uganda nezimbaka outpost ku border ya Uganda ne Congo. Last week, they deployed troops. The government in the DRC declared a state of emergency. Ne bagamba Eastern Congo bagenda gisalako. Bukulembeze bwayo ne babujjawo ne babuteeka mu mikono gy'amagye. Secondly, ne bagamba Tshisekedi n'agamba Museveni, please mpereza ku magye. Tukwasaganyize wamu a joint operation. Bagende bafufugaze ADF e Congo. Last week, bafulumiza article ngega nti abe Congo, ISIS e Congo, ADF, yasazeeko abantu emitwe with knives. They slaughtered people with knives. In Congo, Eastern Congo, they slaughtered people with knives. Munga babasalako emitwe. 33 people were slaughtered. Now, why are they mentioning knives? Why are they mentioning the slaughter of people with knives? Because it is the same insignia ISIS. So they want to prove so much that these guys are now ISIS. Obabari Al-Qaeda. Now, we all know Museveni's propaganda. Erietia nti, look here. Yatulimba e Somalia nti yataba Al-Shabaab 1989. Ekyo netujja netukikuba ne by withdrawing a story. Ne bagenda e Somalia ne batandika okuguza aba Al-Shabaab ebyokulwanyisa. Nga babaguza ebyokulwanyisa bomu na biki. Of which Al-Shabaab ngekozesa ebyokulwanyisa bimu nejja ne bakuba. Meaning that America was fueling a war it was trying to end. Now, going back to the point, nti batuyise tuli Congo, last week article efulumye nti 33 Congolese people were slaughtered nga babasaze ensingo. Okay. But still, techikola makulu from Museveni just to be there on the invitation of Tshisekedi. And also on the fact that ADF originated from Uganda. And that is why the card of Jamiru Mukulu is still there. That is why Museveni is still holding that card of Jamiru Mukulu. Jamiru Mukulu tagenda kufuluma komera, and he is going to stay alive as much as possible. Because Museveni at a certain point is willing to trade Jamiru Mukulu for something. Because this is what is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine Gwaina Osama bin Laden in your custody. And America bajikubye all over the place, bajikubye bomb, blah, 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 blah. So if I'm the one with Osama bin Laden, that I hold a huge card. You see, the role Museveni is playing in the East African region, the geopolitics of the East African region, ebintu bino byazanya no katemba gwazanya. Bye bintu Pakistani, byezanya mu kitundu ekyo, Pakistani, Afghanistani, gundi India, and the terrorists abali awo gundi Pakistan. You know why Pakistan ina but Taliban banji nyabali mu territory yawe? Because if the Taliban go away, the Pakistani government does not make money. That is why you see a Pakistan, the president Imran Khan itaina buyinza, but the power lies with the Pakistani generals. Era wogena no soma the experiment that is the thing that is happening in Pakistan. Ojja kulaba nti Abapakistan ate be bakweka Abataliban be bababuulira nti kati bagenda kukuba wano mu dduke. So kati America after 30 years yagenza okukiraba nti man bano bagayi betugezaako okufufuggaza ate bano betusupporting the Pakistan military gye tusupporting ate bakube ate yeri mu kubakweka yeri mu kubaddusa kati wayitawo mwezi ngago like pressure weyitidire nnyo then Pakistan ng'ekwatayo genome owa al-Shabaab Taliban oba al-Shabaab nemuwaayo. That is how Pakistan plays it. Kati Museveni yewakizanja. That's why you see he's holding Jamiru Mukulu, waiting for a point of leverage. Ekyo tujja kiddako some other time. But this is the issue. How does Katumba Wamala fit into all this? Well, like I've been telling you guys, you need to justify your presence in a foreign land. Kyobolaba Katumba Wamala mukuba amasasa afe, blame it on the terrorists. That's why you see nti kakati bye batandise okwogera terrorist. Nga bwe batta aba people power tebabeera ba terrorist. Nga bwe batta abantu baffe wano ab'oku street. I mean, you don't even know nti oba Katumba Wamala ekyamusizza ssente waliwo ayabadde amubanja. Oba Katumba Wamala ekyamusizza ekyabadde kyagala omutisa mukazi nti yakwanye omukazi wa munne. And then you say it is a terrorist without even doing an investigation. How do you come to a conclusion that it is a terrorist that murdered Katumba Wamala? So you see where the conversation is going. Terrorism. How does it fit in ISIS? ISIS where in the DRC, where Museveni has interests as well as the so-called international guys. So what you do is this. To justify your presence and to justify support from the Western powers to curb ISIS in DRC, something needs to happen in Kampala. Something needs to blow up. Something big needs to happen. And what better thing can happen in Uganda than murdering a former CDF, a former IGP, as well as a former Minister of Transport? That is a high-profile murder. Yeah, that's a high-profile murder. Take him out. Use that as a pretext into ISIS is within Kampala now. And Katumba is not the last. Zino matters zigenda maso. Rakuba, they might pull off the entire operation, or they might look for a different target, or they might come after Katumba again because they need to justify the Congo thing. If Katumba doesn't take his security serious. So this entire game, Katumba has now become a pawn. Mpichi is just Mpichi. And Katumba himself knows the people who attacked him. Avamani. That is the game that you play with Museveni whenever you work with Museveni. Because Museveni wa not to opposition. Tajija kola makulu. No. Wana kuba opposition ya masasi. Tajja gamba terrorists. It doesn't. Tajija yo makulu. Unless ngabaina chebakoze chinene nnyo mu katale. Akatale ne katulika. Wanakuwa omuzikiti tekikola makulu. No. Terrorists si wacho wa operating. Nti John yagenze na blowing omuzikiti. No. That's not terrorism. It does not justify your presence in the Congo. Where wali yo ISIS. Nyonya church. Nyonya akatale. Tokuba opposition. Nedda bana abali mu kibiina kyaffe bennyini betukwatako. Abamajje ba minister. Those are the people. They fit the bill. So when you hit them, oyagala kuwolera gwanga. So you go after the ADF as hard as you can. Ugandan invasion, Congo 3.0. That's it. So why was Katumba? Number one reason, Katumba is a pawn. Those people who tried to operation, I mean, how can you miss? In broad daylight, I don't know how many. Echiro, Teyawona. Major Chigunu bamukubira wali kumacha. For the very first time you miss? How can you miss? I've seen there are some security guards that died under unclear circumstances. I don't know why. But anyway, that is one reason, by the way. There are so many reasons as to why someone would want Katumba Wamala dead. That is one reason. Congo intervention. Now, where is the remote? Now, the second reason is this. Just I had noted some of my points down here. So the second reason as to why there's another important thing that I've not told you. Abasinga kumwe mulabika temukimanyi. But this is what happened. You remember that Katumba has a connection with the ADF, if you guys don't know. Not as in supporting the ADF, no. Katumba Wamala is one of the people abagenda ne negotiating with the real ADF abaliwo in the early 90s. He's one of the people that were on the delegation that went to Sudan to negotiate the amnesty of these Muslims. Abali bavuddeyo okuyekera katugambe the batabuliki, what you call them. Era Katumba Wamala naye akyogera lunywe nti I'm one of those people who secured the return of these people nga bali e Khartoum. But most of the people he negotiated for, we are negotiating the amnesty yabwe. Most of them have been murdered. ADF, former ADF, let's say. Sechimpi, Centam, I think. No, Centam tell you ADF. Well, yeah, no. But Sechimpi. But most of these Batabli, especially Major Chigundo. You get it? Well, Major Chigundo, because in some of the negotiations that Katumba was involved in, ADF abali bagala okuyingira amaje, abali bagala okuyingira government, they had to retain their ranks. That is one of the things they agreed on. Major Chigundu, but still he was Major General Muhammad Chigundu, something like that. They retained their ranks. But Katumba Wamala was very pivotal in negotiating the return of these Muslims, the return of these real core ADF guys, abali bayekera government at that time. Now, the ADF in Congo is completely different from the ADF that was here in the 90s. Completely different. Tezinawendizikukwataganira. Kubanga guy agikulira si musiraamu. Era n'erinnya lye yeyita Seka, S-E-K-A, not Sheikh. No. Yoba ye Sekani, naye nga musajja n'omwenga anywa. But baabagala omulemezaako erinnya ly'ekisiraamu and so on and so forth. So that element of Katumba negotiating the return of ADF rebels in Uganda, not securing their amnesty, is something very important. And that links up very well with the situation in the Congo. Now, putting that aside, the reason as to why someone would still want Katumba Wamala dead is because Katumba is a very big threat in Museveni's future plans, like it or not. Future plans za Museveni ziri west. Kintu kitadde nkirekere either mutabani wange oba nkirekere omuntu yenna gwe mba nnonze. But Museveni knows very well nti omuntu yenna gwe anaalonda agenda kubeera unpopular because NRM government is very unpopular. Ate Museveni akimanyi nti if atole ekintu akikwata n'akisuulawo n'agamba nti oba afudde oba kiki, it's going to be a very big battle within the ranks of the army itself as well as the public. Now, this is the point. Katumba Wamala, we all know that in the army, mulimu factions according to tribal factions. Right or wrong? Tujja kulaba northern faction ey'amagye, ojja kulaba central, ojja kulaba aba western bali bokka, ojja kulaba n'aba eastern maybe bali bokka. If you want if you want me to prove that that is right or wrong, look at the SFC. SFC. It's the elite army unit. Who are the commanders? Why is it that when Muhoozi went to Somalia and someone asked him, lwaki abantu abamu abava mu bitundu ebimu bagetinga promoted, ate abalala tetubanga tetuli promoted, so that dissatisfaction or kutali ku that unhappiness eri maje, it is a very, very big threat. Now, this is what happens in the military, the UPDF especially. The Banyankole the Westerners will look up to the Westerners who are in the military. There is no Westerner that will look up to Katumba Wamala or Paul Lokech. Where? No, seriously. Mayanja, for me to be motivated to join the military because of General David Sejusa, there are no stories that I know about General David Sejusa except getting people and putting them in a train and the stories. There is no people from the West that would be looking up to General Obama Yanja because of it here. No. Abaganda, no one looks up to them except fellow Baganda. The Northerners also look up to their northern high-ranking military officers. There is no Northerner that would look up to General Katumba Wamala. From where? There's no Northerner that is going to look up to Sabiti Muzeyi or Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Nope. It's not going to happen. The people who look up to these people, they look up to people above from the same tribe. Do you get the point? Because even in the recruitment process of that what do you call it? The UPDF, it is very, very tribal. Chovola baba recruiting according to regions. Tibaja agenda, Western ba recruiting, Northern ba recruiting, Eastern ba recruiting, and all these other places, name Central. But Central is very interesting because different people from different tribes come within the Central to get recruited within the Central. That is funny. But if you go to Western to be recruited into the army or the police, you get 100% Western. If you go to the North, you get 100% North. If you go to East, 100% somewhat East. If you come to Central, ojakufuna 20% Uganda and the rest zinzokubera from other regions, Central, East, and the other parts. But the small faction that is in the army that belongs to Uganda, they look up to people like General Katumba Wamala. Now that's a very big threat, especially Wobango planning Muhoozi mbuyaba kusikira. Because what is going to happen is the army is going to be split into factions on tribal grounds. Tujja kulaba Eleru Lokechi balina ekiwayi kyabwe n'abalala abaveeyo. Tunuulire bano Sabiti Muzeyi Muhoozi balina ekiwayi kyabwe. And that's why you see that Katumba Wamala tried to distance himself. Literally, he distanced himself from the Mumbere attack on the Mumbere Palace. He said, I was not part of it. Why? Why wouldn't you stand with your fellow brethren in the UPDF and say that the attack on the Mumbere Palace was justified? Why would you distance yourself? Why? Why would you say that you're not part of it? A military operation is a military operation, right? So if the UPDF under the command of General Peter Eleru attacked the Mumbere's Palace, the entire UPDF should speak the same language. Well, Katumba Wamala must have known the repercussions. Nagama, you know what? It was him. Or maybe he said that because it was under the operation of a different individual. Now, Katumba Wamala, according to Muhoozi project, is not so much into it. He's what? 60 what? Late 60s. He must be one of those people who are going out. Now, why is he a threat to Museveni and his succession plans? Well, he is technically a threat because this is where it comes in, right? This is a very important point. If Katumba Wamala can create some sort of faction, like if there's a faction that believes in terms of the military, and then maybe Bobby Wine has the public behind him, that is both the public, the civilians behind him, that is from different parts of the country. Well, that's a very interesting thing because what that means is that if Katumba Wamala joins with His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, which is a likely thing if at all Museveni is out, it's not some good news. So all he has to do is to convince other people from other regions, other generals from other regions, and see how we can work. Now, talking about Bobi Wine tasobola commanding amaje, well, who would you look further? Would you look further than maybe, where would you look? I mean, you would start with, see how Katumba Wamala can advise on how to sort out the military. So now if you have that, and you have someone seated there, having a lot of power, a lot of experience, he becomes a very big threat. So the entire country, Uganda, becomes too small for these two big individuals. Like Museveni, either Museveni goes or Katumba goes. The person who missed the target, 40 bullets, ayazimissinze ayinza okuba kati yattiddwa because amaze omulabula. Now look here, ladies and gentlemen, take away Katumba, mumajje mujjeemu muganda ki omulala gogenda okuteekaawo? Which other person from the center are you going to, like, I know people have been against Katumba, but I'm not trying to defend him. I'm trying to make an analysis. Why would someone want Katumba dead? That's it. This is my own analysis. So now take Katumba out of the military, right? Yeah, people power. Yes, he might have said all those words, but we need to sit down. No breaking it down here, Songa. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that issue, if you take Katumba out of the military, maje abaganda baba basigadde wa mubani bemugenda okuleta bakano na reiso jeno na come on jeno na reiso kano na reiso yeje kano okay moyo otina yo mulala Edith Nakalema okay Edith Nakalema really Nakalema nga n'oluganda lwe lwayogera sirutegeera man bebo bemuyina bajjeno na reiso bambe baba basigaddeyo baliwo bajjena abali the only jeno gwe tubadde tuyina gwe tulaba nga abantu abava mu central abantu baffe betuyina bannaye sibe bajjeno na reiso mukazi watu asiba skirt nekomeno kati jeno na reiso asiba skirt ekomeno ekintu anakitandikirawa kitegeera talina wagenda kitandikira. So ladies and gentlemen, that is becoming a big threat. One has to go. Either Katumba goes or Museveni goes. If Katumba stays, na plan is Museveni, his future plans. He's a very big impediment. Museveni cannot trust Katumba at all. He cannot trust Eleru. He cannot trust the Lokeches. But not about trusting. The same situation that Katumba finds himself in. It is the same situation these other people or these other generals or these other people from other different regions are going to find they're going to find themselves in as well. Now, so eliminate Katumba, create a pathway for Muhoozi or your succession plan, and everything works out. There is no resistance, no one that Bobi Wine is going to work with in the Uganda region or other regions and so on and so forth. Because if Bobi Wine was to look for a loophole within the army, his first point of contact is Katumba Wamala, like it or not. His first point of so thank you very much. Bobi Wine's first point of contact, if he is to penetrate the army, I think it is a channel that has to go through Katumba, like it or not. Well, if it is what is going on in the back. That's just my analysis or something like that. Okay, now the other reason. I have like 3 or 4 reasons. So now, this is a very important thing, that we all know that Katumba Wamala has benefited a lot from the system. Like it or not. Like Museveni does. Ntajja kwata Lokech, amuwe ekifo, mutwale Somalia, mfule ame commander. Amuleke abenga bwayagala. Same applies to these other people. Okotho Choras bani. Kitegeera nti abakola abayiti musa nga olaba bansi bambi, all these people nga wakozesa ye nakuleka n'okola byokola nga it looks the other way like souls. And okay, it is now time to take this gentleman out. Bakazini ba Mayombo yali ayogerwako. Time came n'agamba I think it is time for Mayombo to go now. Mayombo has to go out. Now Katumba Wamala has benefited from the system enormously. Katumba Wamala imu ku basirikale abagagga mu Uganda, like it or not. Mugagga, like he's a rich man. In 2000 yali IGP. You know what it means to be an IGP? A budget job running. The power you have in terms of recruitment, the power you have in terms of the budget, procurement. He benefited from that a lot of money. Navao Afuse CDF, Chief of Defense Forces. Do you know what that means? Big budget, man. Procurement your car. Exposure your car. Meeting different people from different parts of the world. It's Katumba for you. Now, what is very important is Katumba yakwira operation egoba abantu ku nyanja ne landing sites because of illegal fishing. But in reality, kyebali bakola kyakuddira amagye gassambye ennyanja as their loot. Kyobola balina ne farms ebyennyanja. Y'omu ku bantu abali mu exporting ebyennyanja n'ennuuni. So much money comes in. Ekya CDF we baakimuggyako ne bamuteeka ku kya bamuwadde Ministry of Works. I've told people nti Ministry of Works okugenda okugikuwa olina okubanga Museveni alina kya ayagala oliye naye nga naawe olina okubanga mu kintu mwoli nga mulya. Because Ministry of Works we muyita buli deal. Museveni mwabira ssente mwayitiza buli kyaba ayagala okubba. Ministry of Works. Kuba mwe muli okuzimba enguudo, mwe muli okuzimba simanyi biki, mwe muli airport biki twala tugende. There's a lot of deals that, I mean, those are mega infrastructure projects. Era ku mulembe gwa Katumba, Uganda Airlines we yaleeterwa ne tulaba nti Auditor General's report yagala nti Uganda lost over 24.7 million US dollars, 102 billion Ugandan shillings. Nga Katumba Wamala, Minister of State for Works and Transport. Era zino saga za Uganda Airlines zemulaba man. Kitegera. So he definitely must have made a lot of money. He has accumulated a lot of wealth. Now, accumulation of that wealth, right? And the fact that he has this faction that looks up to him in the military, and the fact that the Bobby Wine factor as well, and the fact that Katumba Wamala has the money, is a big threat. A threat. Big threat. Because Katumba Wamala might be loyal to Museveni, but you have no guarantee that he will be loyal to Muhoozi. Or you have no guarantee that he will be loyal to anyone who succeeds Museveni, like anyone who takes over after Museveni, or anyone who topples Museveni within the NRM itself. You have no guarantee of that. So how do you deal with a general that has a lot of money, that has made a lot of wealth, accumulated a lot of wealth? How do you deal with a general that has been exposed in military deals as an IGP as well as a CDF, knowing what to buy, where to buy? How do you deal with such a general? Well, eliminate him. Simple as that. Eliminate that general. Oleke over General Nareiso, ne Flavia, Brigadier Flavia, okay, guys. Lastly, on my analysis on why someone would like Katumba dead. Now, there is an issue that because you should also understand within these capacities, Maza Kolera and Adaramu Ministry of Works and Transport, of course, he must have stepped on people. Some people, you know, he must have rubbed people the wrong way. Bayina be yanyiza, obayina omuntu wa Museveni gwe yagana okuhiringa, obayina gwe yakuba abana amukola ki. So, agende. Agende. Now, this is a far-fetched point, but I'm going to stress it. This last point, very far-fetched. Now, it's the issue that there are different sections within Museveni's ranks abagala omujjako. People abamukoye naye nga tebagala kukikwasa oba kukizza eri civilian role nga bagala kyekwatiramu. These are real facts. See real facts. Naye kale, these are real things that are happening. Means okubanga temwagala biwulira bamwagala biwulira blah blah blah. Yeah, but there are people who want power. Nga bali within the military. You see, this is what happens with army guys. They get bored. Tewakyali ntalo za kulwana. Buli kimu bakikoze bakifunye. Sente bazina. They can do whatever they want. So they start thinking, you know what, I'm bored. Maybe I should become president as well. That's what happens. Now, there are so many people within Museveni's ranks, like 3 or 4 factions that are trying to either be ready if Museveni dies, be ready if Museveni is toppled, Be ready if Museveni is overthrown. Be ready if anything happens to Museveni. Now they are ready to pick it up. But now those people by Imanyinti, there are some impediments as it will. Like some people have to be eliminated literally. Nti mu central wajja kutusumbua waliwo Kyagulanyi ali national kati ne maje muno mulimu abalina Kyagulanyi ne mu police muno kale tebali naye bayinza okuba naye senga muze yavuddeko bayinza okuba naye in case the future ng'ekyuse bayinza okuba preempting is the word. So what they do is, okay, in preempting you have to act. You either kill or be killed. So these people are trying now to eliminate abantu abayinza okukola kerere. Archbishop Rwanga bonna bali mu Buganda, Muzaata, Kasirye Gwanga, what do you call his name, Katumba Wamala, Felix Kawesi, and so on and so forth. But we should not also forget these people also, people like Kawesi, people like Katumba Wamala, they might have committed some criminal acts. I don't know if Katumba Wamala has killed anyone. The thing I know is that he punched Zake. But I know at least Kawesi was a bit shoddy guy. He was a shoddy guy. Yali dira nyo. Ne Katumba Wamala naye simanyi oba dira, but you cannot compare Kawesi and Katumba, right? So Katumba Wamala definitely is if there are factions that are fighting within State House, if there are factions that are fighting within NRM, within Museveni, his family, and all this kind of stuff, basooka kutunuulira the outsiders abayinza okulemesa ekintu kyabwe on how to take it over. So you eliminate these outsiders first, then afterwards you turn the guns against each other. Mujja kubalaba nga beekuba amasasi nga mulaba omuhima n'omuhima nga beekasabula. That is after taking us all out. Fenna nga bamaze otutta. Winding up as nkola conclusions zange ezisembayo, then I go to work. Where do we go from here now that Katumba Wamala has survived? I understand his reaction of thanking Museveni. His attempted murder is the fact that it is done in broad daylight. Tuyinza okukyagula Katumba bamulazeeko blah blah blah. Yeah. But Katumba is not the most scared. It is each and every general atava wa Museveni. Eleru, Lokech, Guti, all these people. Because now they know what has happened to Katumba is coming for them. They know if it doesn't get them, it is going to get their families. They know if it doesn't get their families, I don't know. Those are the most scared. Kambabulire. Ebbanga eritali lyawala. You might see a mutiny. We might see a mutiny. Seriously. We might see a mutiny. Era we mulabawo mutiny yonna temweyibaala. There might be a mutiny. Because now the generals have realized this guy is literally now coming after us. Whereas Katumba has lived to tell the story. He has lost a daughter, number one. And Katumba, you cannot compare him to Onomusajja Gwabaita Bukenya. Bukenya's son was killed, but Bukenya is not a military guy. No one was looking up to Bukenya. Secondly, is the issue Guti also lost a son. Bamukuba. Mukadukuluka. Aba LDU bakuba omwana wa General Guti ne bamukuba ne bamutta. Now, if there is anyone amanyi what it means as a security official to lose a son or a daughter, nebagamba sirika gamire, it is Guti. Now, Guti, at the same time now, Katumba Wamala has joined the Guti club. Joining the club ya Guti. Until we know the people who are killing our children. There is going to be a mutiny. Those military guys are going to start killing each other. Trust me, it's going to happen. Who is killing who? Because what the military thought was, we might be safe in this generation, why in this era. But when you pit the old guard against the new guard, the young tax Bamho's group, and you pit it against the old guard, Guti, Katumba Wamala, then there is going to be war between these two factions. Guti lost a son, Teafuna Bwenkanya. Katumba Wamala has lost a daughter, Abamusava Manyi. Newankubadaya Achikumya Asirise. He's not stupid. I don't think he's stupid. Where does this leave people power? Where does it leave the struggle? Where does it leave our revolution? Because when we go into entalo wakati w'amagye nga galwanagana gokka, kituleka wa? I don't know. I've put the cards on the table. Because what the Maje will do is this. Different factions will align themselves with different political people, like different politicians. Of course, the new guard, about the young they will align themselves much more with the NRM. Now we will see factions. Most factions will align themselves with political parties in Jeziva. That's what I can predict, but I'm not saying it will happen. The Northerners are likely to align themselves with the UPC to politically negotiate on behalf of the Northern blah 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 military officials. And then Central, of course, you know what is likely to happen. And then maybe the Central can align with the Eastern, and yeah. But for me, what I think is that Wetulaga Siwango, things are not easy. And the murder or the attempted murder of Katumba is a big sign. And he's not the last one. Different generals will be falling, but that is, anyone can say that. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my simple analysis on the matter. And I hope amakulu, but I will just have to maybe try to understand more the situation and where this leaves the struggle. And maybe I will come and speak about it. Because look here, guys, there is killing Chirumira, there is killing Muslim sheikhs, but there is attempting to assassinate a former CDF, a former IGP, a former minister. It's not easy. One last thing before I leave is the issue of the November murders. What happened on November the 30th, as well as the 19th and 20th of November, those murders have haunted Museveni so much. There's a possibility that the BBC documentary, when it came out, Museveni had to cover the story internationally. Because when you Google Uganda today, tebaja kuletera 3 killings in Kampala, the BBC documentary, one of the most watched videos, kakati. No, they are bringing you attempted assassination of Katumba Wamala. They are bringing you the death of his daughter, Brenda. They are bringing you assassination attempt, and they are claiming it is terrorists, which goes back to the Congo, meaning that they are selling the war internationally as we speak. Olutalo kati balutunda internationally, invasion ya Uganda Congo bali mu kugitunda internationally, what we call public opinion. See, whenever you're selling the First World War, Second World War, Crimean War, they always used the public opinion, never swaying a public opinion to support the invasion. The same thing happened in Iraq, 2003, when Bush invaded Iraq. Bush yagenda mu Afghanistan kunyonya Bin Laden eyamaliza ayingidde yagenda mu Iraq, no, yagenda mu Afghanistan kunyonya Bin Laden n'agamba naye ndowooza ne gundi ono tumukwasaganyiza eddala ani ono omusajja bamuyita ani oyo guy Saddam, naye tumukwasaganyiza eddala tukimale lumu. Public opinion. So they are selling public opinion internationally. Now, what let us kill the story, create a diversion, kill the story about the murders. We shall be scoring. To again, we have a terrorist threat in the country, we have a terrorist threat in the region, and so Uganda has to step up. Simple as that. Kill one of your high-ranking officials. No, abo opposition tebatunda nawe. Utunda terrorism atokutaba opposition. Kola terrorism ate mbonyonyeyo simanyi gundi. No, it doesn't work. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope I've tried to make a coherent analysis of the situation, and inshallah tujja kukomawo tudemu protests zaffe tuludde okukolayo ku protest naye mirimu gya nsi gino nga mugiraba n'okuttibwa n'okuwona kw'okuttibwa kwa Katumba. But that's the issue. Okay guys, have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye bye.